Hello, hello. Welcome back to We Still Like Each Other, the podcast. My name is Stephanie.
And my name's Travis.
And this is the podcast where we prove that the honeymoon stage never, ever has to end.
Never, 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 never.
Welcome back to another episode. How are you feeling? You feeling good?
Yeah.
You're laughing at me?
Because you always have like that robotic sound.
In the beginning? All right,
How
whatever.
are you feeling?
So let's get off of my intro and my robotic sound. And we're going into Did You Know, Travis?
Did you know? Did you know men really benefit from getting married? Research has suggested that men in particular benefit from married life. A major survey of over 120,000 American adults found that married men are healthier than men who never tied the knot or whose marriages ended in divorce or widowhood. They also live longer.
I believe that. I'm not shocked at all.
Why do you believe that?
Because you neglect your health, and you typically in a marriage, the woman would take on that role.
So you think it's just like a mother role?
You know what's crazy? This Did You Know is gonna relate to my first topic.
Look how that works.
But not necessarily a mother role, but a caretaker in a sense.
Okay.
So in relationships and partnerships, there is a delegation of roles, right? Certain things have to get done. Someone has to pick it up, right? It's not always 50-50. It depends on what's happening on the job of one of the partners, and we delegate roles. And majority of the time when it comes to health and your doctor's appointments or things like that, for whatever reason, the mother picks that up.
The woman.
Because I feel like mothers tend to baby the boys when it comes to that.
Okay.
And will do those things for the son longer than they would for the daughter.
It's funny that you're thinking of it in like a logistical sense as far as like going to doctor's appointments. When I read that, I was like, oh, this is like, love, and love makes you, live longer. And you're like, literally go to the doctor.
Literally, we make you go to the doctor. Literally, we like, I'm about to explain something that just happened earlier. Oh. Why do men always have a pair of drawers that are breaking and they refuse to let them go?
Because if they still work and they're clean, why not?
You know what's crazy? Y'all see how Travis dressed, right? He has his graphic tees, his hoodies, He loves sneakers, but he had a pair of drawers on with a rip that I've been seeing.
It was a small hole
in the seam.
On the
seam.
That's the leg, the seam?
The seam of the leg, yeah, like around.
So a small hole like right here. And I'm talking to you, and all of a sudden you just put your finger in it and rip it.
So you could finally get rid of them.
And all I did was I took the rip part and tucked it in my waistband. Because why are you wasting money?
But you see, those are things that women end up taking on, where it's socks, underwear, undershirts. Y'all be looking fly on the outside and homeless underneath it. So I totally believe that men benefit the most from marriage. I didn't even need that. Like, duh. Yeah.
It's like the sun is yellow.
Yeah, it's like without marriage, you eat takeout food all the time. You never go to the doctor. You never have new underwear. What else?
This Did You Know is backfiring.
Yeah, I'm not shocked at all. So before, I was going to say like you're weak, but I have to bring up my topic because it's too related, right? So my first topic is about productivity, right? And how, before I even say that, I wanted to say thank you to everyone who reaches out and like kind of asks and checks in on me and how I'm doing. I just had a baby, and a lot of the times we focus like, how's the baby? How's the baby? And we forget like that the mom just went through a major life change. And I do have a lot of people reaching out to me, so thank you. And someone that I spoke to, we kind of related how the fact that we do have a new baby we're less productive and how that negatively impacts like our mental health, right? Like we start to feel a little sad, a little depressed because we're so concerned that we aren't able to be as productive, which led me down this whole rabbit hole on our values, right? So how you see yourself, how you value yourself, what is that connected to, right? A lot of the times that's your job, your hobbies, your interests, right? How you show up for your friends and family. That's how you put a value on who you are. And I know for me, a lot of that has to do with being productive. Like, what did I accomplish today? If I feel like I didn't get much done, it weighs on me.
Yeah, I can say firsthand, I know to me, I enjoy a lazy day on the couch, binge watching something, and you do too. But then I know the next day after, you always have like some type of regret. Like we could have did this, we could have did that. So that's always in the back of my mind when we're having a lazy day. Like, fuck, I'm gonna pay for this.
And that sucks. Like, I don't want you to have that pressure. Like, we can't enjoy a lazy day. But I realize that I'm sure so many women could relate that we grow up feeling like our value is connected to productivity, specifically around the house, right? So even like we have this pressure like to let a guy know that we know how to cook, right? Or that our home is super tidy, super clean. If there's, let's say, a man and a woman dating, if you go to the guy's house, you might see some laundry, a couple dishes in the sink, and it's like, okay, whatever. But when you go to the woman's house, she has like this...
Looks like it's out of a magazine.
Yeah, it has to be pristine, like it's not even lived in, where I feel like that has carried into my life and my marriage. And when you're cleaning, if you're doing something, I'm like nervous. I'm like, okay, I got to get up and help. Does that make sense?
No, I get it. I'm trying to think if those things were important to me when dating you. Like I can't, maybe subconsciously, but I didn't think like, oh, can she cook? Or she can cook, check.
But if I couldn't, or if you came to my house and my toilet was dirty,
I would have judged you.
Would that have, Yeah,
I would have definitely
judged you. Or maybe it wouldn't have. I don't know. But for me, in the back of my mind was, in order for him to see my value.
I think my bathroom was dirty. Didn't you point that out? That
my bathroom your sink was dirty. I was like, he knew I was coming over. Why is this sink not wiped? And you didn't even live alone, so it made me even more like, so everybody's just okay with this sink being dirty? I hate a dirty sink, a dirty bathroom floor. Like, it drives me nuts. But, yeah. So, when we talk about did you know, men benefit, of course, if you're entering a relationship with someone who's programmed to keep the house clean and to cook, there's all your benefits. Because if you had to clean for yourself, cook for yourself, or if you had to hire out for that, it's expensive.
Yeah.
It's time consuming. So if you're getting that out of a relationship, you are definitely benefiting. Now, is that always wrong? No. Do I have a problem with being the person who mostly cleans and mostly cooks? No. But there needs to be, okay, if I'm providing this, then now what are you providing for me? Which now totally separate. I didn't even think about. Women are seen as a lot of times, oh, the man's providing most of the money. As you should be if she's cooking more and cleaning more. Like, why is that a problem?
If you want to be honest and put values on things or a price tag on things.
Yeah. Which you can. It's not hypothetical. If you hired out for cleaning, if you hired out for cooking, it's expensive.
Sex work.
Hello. So if you're getting all of this from your partner and all you do is provide more money from your job, like, okay, like you shouldn't be super praised for that.
It wouldn't be balanced.
Exactly.
It would favor the woman is carrying more of the load.
More of the weight, more of the load in terms of labor, in terms of hours. But what I wanted to talk about was in you knowing, like you say, I see it firsthand, like you see your value through your productivity. What do you do to kind of help me in that sense? Like, what do you see your role is to help balance that or to help take some of that pressure off of me?
Ooh. Put me on the spot. I know what I should be doing. I know there are things that I fail at a lot.
Okay.
But yeah, like helping you around the house. I know it would be nice if I could help take off some of those cooking duties from you. Helping with our older child.
So before you continue, I feel like a lot of what you said is tainted, right? Because you're framing it in the sense of helping me.
I sound like the person who's saying, yeah, I'm about to babysit
my kid. So it shouldn't be like you're helping me. It's like you're just contributing to your own home. And I'm not saying that to call you out and to say you're looking at it this way. I feel like just universally, we're all conditioned to think that way. That it's one person's job in the home to cook and clean. And then when the other person pitches in, they're helping versus they're just, completing a task for a place that they also live in for their family as well.
Yeah, I see it that way. It's going to take some unprogramming. And like language is important because obviously deep down, I don't feel that way. Like I'm helping you. Like it probably makes me happier than you to live in a clean home and everything's nice and organized. And you've seen it firsthand. Like I get visibly uncomfortable when things are just array. So I don't think it's all on you, but the way I say it can change.
Definitely. Because I know that, for example, one of the days earlier this week, River was super fussy and just wanted to be on top of me. He would not nap like anywhere except on top of me. And he was also cluster feeding, meaning he wanted to eat like every 10 to 20 minutes. He just wanted to nurse. So I remember texting you and like letting you know, don't expect much to be done when you get home. Like I had this pressure to like let you know when you walk in, this is what to expect.
Or even before I went back to work. Well, I mean, we'll talk about me going back to work, but in like the week or two with that coming up, you were like, listen, don't expect much from me. Don't expect that you're going to come home to like a cooked meal and a pristine looking house because, I do have a newborn here.
I kind of was saying the same shit over and over and over because I'm like, even though I'm not thinking directly this, I'm like, I hope he still values me even if he comes home and these things aren't done. And it's because I'm so conditioned to feel that way and I'm not technically contributing financially. So it's like, well, then if you're not contributing financially, then the house needs to be 100% in order. I need 3 meals a day. If not, then I'm worthless.
And if we're being honest, you're not contributing financially. I put that in air quotes, but
I am.
You put price tags on the things you do.
Yeah.
You probably bring way more to the table.
Saving a lot of money and things that I do bring to the table. But we don't look at it that way.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
Yeah.
I mean, that kind of goes back to one of our earlier episodes as far as like the stay-at-home mom.
Even we posted that reel about divorce and a lot of, misogynists in the comments on TikTok talking about women initiate divorce more. They take half of everything. But it's like, if the whole time y'all were married, of course, what do you want them to leave the marriage without anything?
Yeah. I never understood that. And you see it happen. You see the conversation come up more, especially with celebrities, because we're talking a lot more money.
Yeah.
Most recently with Dr. Dre and his ex-wife. But and I don't know their dynamic, but I'm assuming he didn't just marry someone who was just laid on their back all day and spent his money and wasn't a good mother.
And they were married a long time. They have
before
grown
before
kids.
Beats by Dre and before I'm sure his, you know, their music, whatever. But I'm saying the point is she deserves some of that credit.
Mm-hmm.
And I get the, you know, the misogynistic podcast talk. Like, I get it. I get where it comes from. It's like that fear of losing something you work for. But if you really sit down and be honest with yourself and honest with your situation, you would not have attained half of what you've done if you didn't have that foundation at home.
And not only that, when you're in the marriage and you're building this fortune, you're doing it with, this is for us. This is for us, right? So then when things don't work out and you have to split, you're saying, forget you, right? That doesn't make any sense. You want to say, we built this together.
It didn't work out.
You were my support while I was building this. It didn't work out. Here's your half, and that's it. Now, if you were scammed or conned into a marriage and then instantly divorced, that's a totally different conversation. But not this whole Dr. Dre situation. It makes no sense. And most of them don't make any sense. So yeah, that was my little topic that I wanted to mention because it just was too related to your did you know about men benefiting. But how was your week? Oh, I also wanted to say happy Black History Month.
Yes, happy Black History Month.
The shortest month of the year, but you know.
Happy Black History Year.
Yes, it should be Black History all the time, all day, every day.
Yeah. But work. Yeah, it was, you know, a little surreal going back. It's been almost 6 weeks. Mm-hmm. That's, you know, that's a long time off.
Yeah.
Even like vacation wise. Luckily I was thrown into a project, so it was pretty like, all right, just start running. Yeah. Which I think helps because if I was looking for something to do, it would have dragged on.
Yeah.
But being there and just having to pretty much play catch up, it made the days fly by. Yeah. It did suck not being home with you. I think that first day FaceTimed and, you know, talking to the baby, that was nice, but also kind of sad because I'm like, this is the new norm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool.
For me, not that I liked that you weren't here, but my routine changed and I needed like a change.
Because now you're taking the Eli to school, but you also have to get the baby ready.
Yeah, pick him up. So it's a lot of moving parts, but I feel like I enjoy it. Like I notice I'm just getting my heart rate up more often. That's more, you know, it's better than to be like in a slumber all the time. And then I have little tasks to complete off my to-do list. And since, you know, my value is tied to my productivity, I get to feel a little bit more productive throughout the week. When he's super attached and needy and like wants to nurse 24/7, I get a little panicky. But a couple of days went really well where he would nurse and take a nice nap and I got to work out, I got to read, I got to prepare dinner. So, you know, it has its moments.
Do you miss me?
Of course.
I'm not asking for that. I'm asking right now. Were there days where you're like, damn, I wish Travis was there?
Yes. In terms of like just missing you, like, because I love you, or missing you, like, in terms of getting things done?
Both.
Well, yes, just because, you know, I love being with you. So, of course, I missed you in the sense that, like, of course, I would rather be doing the same exact thing I'm doing now, but with you near me. But I did feel like I had a handle on things. Like, I wasn't like, oh, my God, my life would be so much easier if Travis was here to help with this task, or, you know. I kind of feel like I do have a handle on just being a mother of two until you get home. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And I missed you a lot. It did, like I said, it helped that I had a task to complete. Mm-hmm. So it kept my mind off it. But yeah, like normally I'll work from home in the tail end of the week. But I had to go into the office an extra day and it was just like, damn, this sucks.
That sucked because I'm like, all right, I got a handle on it, but I already in my mind knew come Thursday you could help out. So even though I got it, it was still like, okay, I needed a slower transition.
Yeah. Also, what else happened this week? River got his shots.
Yeah. Oh, he did good.
Yeah. But you had the boob ready.
Yeah. I feel, and I was worried about the next 2 days, like the fever and the crankiness. And he was all right. Like, it wasn't as bad as I thought. I was like anticipating a horrible like 2 days, but it wasn't that bad.
Did you tell the doctor about the 911 story?
Yeah, I did. And she was like, wait, what? And then she gave me a very detailed explanation of when to worry when he's choking. She basically said, like, if he's turning blue or his body's super limp, that if he's just choking kind of, but he's working through it and he's breathing, that it's okay. Yeah.
That's easier said than done.
I know, but
just wait till he's a little limp and blue, then.
Yeah, exactly. But she said, you know, it's better to be safe than sorry if I had that mother's instinct to like call for help. But yeah.
Any other milestones this week?
No, but I did want to ask you, Valentine's Day is coming up.
Whew.
And we spoke about, you know, acting your wage or X, Y, and Z. But a lot of people wanted to know, what do you get men? So what is your answer to that? What is a gift?
Should we share some of the answers?
Yeah.
So the most common one, I think I saw 3 or 4 of these, was a blowjob.
Okay.
And you know how I feel about gifting sex.
So he's wondering if y'all not giving enough blowjobs to begin with.
Exactly.
That it's a gift.
What else was there? Cologne.
Yeah. Which, go ahead.
Well, I'll finish your sentence. Steph doesn't like cologne.
Mm-hmm.
I have a cologne bottle, and literally I'll use it very rarely. If we go out, I'll spray my finger and put a dab under each side. That's an okay amount, to the point where Stephanie won't be like, what the fuck are you wearing? Yeah. It doesn't matter how good it smells or how light the smell is. It's just, she's not a fan of cologne. And if I'm being honest, me either. I hate when you hug someone and their scent is on you. Mm-hmm. It bugs me, men and women.
Yeah, I will say I have a very sensitive nose and I get headaches. So like if a cologne, even perfume, if it's too strong, like it starts to give me a headache. I also hate kissing a neck and it tastes like alcohol from the cologne. So I'd rather you just smell fresh. Like I want to smell your lotion, your deodorant, like maybe whatever face product you put on, but I don't need like cologne. It's just, I'm not a fan. So that wouldn't be a gift I get.
Yeah. What else did I see? I saw a pampering day. Mm-hmm. I don't have an answer. These all sound good. Someone did reach out and say, what do you give in a new relationship? Mm-hmm. And my advice, which I think, is pretty honest. I think the fact, or at least for me, the fact that you even thought of me mm-hmm. would make me feel good. No matter how big or how small, everyone wants to be thought about. The fact that you took time out your day to go get me a new pack of underwear, mm-hmm. that would make me feel good.
Yeah.
Or I even suggested telling your partner, listen, be ready at this time and take them out to a nice dinner. Not on Valentine's Day, because we all know that's a scam.
Yeah.
But any day of that week.
What I would say, if this is your first Valentine's Day, take advantage of doing something that's true to you. Don't try to impress your partner by being over the top or by doing something that's not really authentic to you, something you don't want to actually have to keep up with every year. Don't fall for the okie doke and try to do the most. And then next year when you don't do that, your partner's gonna be like, wait, hold up. Where's the energy from last year? So take advantage of this is your first Valentine's Day to be authentic and to not do the most.
Yeah, I agree. Especially financially. Mm-hmm. What if you don't got it next year?
Yeah.
But last year you went and got, hopefully none of our listeners are doing this, but you went and bought Birkins, mm-hmm. and then next year, the money ain't looking good. So now.
Yeah. Also, take note of how your partner reacts to what you get them. Mm-hmm. Are they grateful? Or are they, is this it? This is your new relationship.
I remember.
Take notes.
What was our first holiday? Was it your birthday?
I think my birthday.
So I remember very clearly going to the mall.
Mm-hmm.
I was on the phone with a friend asking like what I should get you.
I know what friend.
I was on the phone with a friend and figured it out. I think I got you like a bracelet, some Godiva strawberries, and was there one more thing?
I think you got me a gift card to like Victoria's
Get you some
Secret
new panties because they had
something.
holes in them or something.
Yeah, right.
And I think I wrote you a nice card.
Yeah.
And I remember brought them to your job and you cried. I was like, got her. And that, I think altogether we're talking less than 200, maybe 200 exactly.
Yeah.
It's pretty moderate.
Mm-hmm.
Back then, 200 kind of was a lot of money for me.
Yeah. And I feel the note was like A1. Like that was top tier for me. Just like words. I feel like we're so used to men not expressing themselves and emotionally and with words. Again, this is all tying together. I'm going to talk about writing things down a little later. So yeah. You ready to move on?
Yeah.
Any last minute Valentine's Day tips or?
Nah, just, I guess go and suck that dick and
What do you want?
probably a blowjob.
Well, that's fair because we do have a newborn and our sex life has a huge wrench in it because we're not sleeping. So
you had your 6-week checkup.
Oh, I did have my 6-week checkup.
So
Can I brag a little bit?
Okay, yeah.
The doctor said, you don't even look like you had a baby.
But also...
Period.
There was a question posed.
Mm-hmm.
And you asked, did we wait?
Did we wait the 6 weeks? Did we? Everyone said no. A small percentage said y'all waited.
I think someone said, oh, I clicked yes by accident. So did we wait the 6 weeks?
No, but we were close.
It was like 5.5.
Yeah, it was like 5 weeks and a few days. We were very close.
That book. Once we read that book.
But I also felt good.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't like...
I feel like even the week before you weren't feeling good.
No.
Like you were still like, oh, I used the bathroom and I just, it doesn't feel good yet. Yeah. It doesn't feel normal yet. Mm-hmm. But I would say, everything's functioning as it should.
Yeah, the doctor said, you don't even look like you had a baby. Good job. I was like, thank you.
Were you, without getting too detailed, were you nervous the first time we were intimate? After?
Not after, but like right before.
No, that's what I mean. Before.
Yeah, right before I was a little like nervous, like I hope nothing breaks. But I was fine.
Yeah. Okay. Are you shook?
No, I'm not shook. I just am a little embarrassed. But I will say, a lot of people have messaged me, commented. They never waited the 6 weeks.
Some of the numbers were
like a week. I was like, whoa, a week after I had River, I was still...
You had a diaper on yourself.
Yeah. No. That's another thing, ladies. When I was in the hospital, I had Travis come with me to the bathroom because I feel like men need to actually see the sacrifice you just made.
Yeah, so her putting on a pad about this big, ice packs and rinsing herself with the hose, and I was just like, God bless.
Yeah, because they need to see like this is like serious business.
We did go like mini viral and get attacked, but I think we'll save that for another episode.
The one about the 6 weeks?
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people were like, I'm spreading misinformation. I kind of felt like Joe Rogan, like I was about to be canceled.
But we're going to talk about that on a different episode.
But yeah, writing things down, it kind of segued. We mentioned how for my birthday, the first birthday we spent together, you wrote me like a nice card. I felt like that wasn't the only time.
Yeah.
Anniversaries, birthdays, or whatever, you tend to write me something nice. I think you emailed me a couple of times, like something really sweet. But the power of writing things down. We speak a lot about communication, effective communication, expressing the things you want in your relationship from your partner. That's not easy for everybody. So a lot of people say, but how do you communicate? Like, how would I, right? It's like we're telling people they should communicate, but maybe we should give a tip.
Okay.
So I felt like writing things down could be helpful if you're afraid of communication, right? Maybe you're not used to talking, especially about sex or about delegating roles and responsibilities in the house, and you're attached to your productivity and you need a little support. Write it down. Maybe if your partner brings up something that's a little awkward, say, let me write this down instead of talking face to face. And I think that's it's very mature.
Okay. I push back.
Okay.
Because I'm just imagining me coming to you with something that I think is important. And you're like, I hear everything you're saying, but give me about an hour to figure out my thoughts. To me, that's almost not as genuine. I want to see the raw response.
But sometimes the raw response isn't well thought out, and that's okay.
So I think it's a good follow-up, because there's been plenty of times me and you have had a discussion and I couldn't convey myself properly, and maybe something got lost in translation, and we're probably still not as happy with each other. We still don't like each other the next day. And then I sit with my thoughts and I write out what I was really trying to say, or maybe clarify something. And it may turn into a mini essay, but at least I got it out. But we did have that initial try at it.
But that's you and I who are more comfortable with communication. I feel like you can start with writing it out if you struggle with communication. If you're not as comfortable, that could be the first step instead of it being the I fucked up what I said step.
Okay. And you, knowing you, do you think you would be okay with that? Like, let's say you laid something on me and I said, I need some time to think of an answer.
Or you could say, yeah, I feel like even you and I, we've had the discussion of sometimes I need a minute. And you're the type that you want to talk right away. You're like, what's wrong? And I'm like, I need a minute sometimes, because I don't want to be mean, or I don't want to say the wrong thing. Like, I want to sit with my thoughts. And sometimes when I do sit with my thoughts, I realize I might have been overreacting. I might have looked into it wrong. And a little bit of time is helpful. But you're saying, like, if I came to you and like, let me write my thoughts down. I don't know. But I'm not really, when I say using writing as a form of communication, I don't really mean like that. Like, there's already an argument. I mean, in terms of like, okay, maybe we need to spice up our sex life, but I'm uncomfortable saying that.
Okay. So that makes a lot more sense.
Like, to open a conversation, not really to like in the middle of an argument already.
No. Okay. So then I take it back. Yeah. I think when you said that, I was thinking you're already in the middle of it and you're like, hold on. It's like the Saved by the Bell pause.
No, more so like there's something you've been wanting to bring up, but you're afraid to bring it up. Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense. And even your example is like perfect. Sex. Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
It could be sex. It could be things around the house. It could be a sensitive topic that's going to come up later is like family dynamics, right? Like if Travis came to me about an issue he had with a cousin, let's say, I'm making this up. And it's like awkward because family is a touchy subject, right? Because I don't want to be like, fuck that person because they're your family. So maybe I'll write it down, my thoughts.
Fuck that person.
Like later, and then bring it to you. But yeah, so that's a tip. Because a lot of times people say, but it's so hard to talk about that. Or when I have tried to talk about it, they kind of shut down. Maybe if you write it and they're able to write back, it's a little less intimidating.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Right? really quickly, Kanye West, Kim Kardashian drama.
I'm not 100% on the Kanye hate train. Basically, quick backstory. Kanye and Kim are in the process of a divorce, but the latest story this week is Kanye is upset that Kim is allowing their daughter North, who I believe is like 7 or 8, to be on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
And he feels strongly about her not being on there. And
which is all okay. He can have this opinion. He could feel that way.
I'm with him.
Why is he posting it online?
Because apparently the conversation, they don't have a relationship in the sense that they're co-parenting well.
And what is him posting it online gonna fix?
It's Kim Kardashian. I'm going to get through to you if you don't take my phone calls directly or through your lawyers or through a family member. Then now,
so you really think the lawyers can't communicate with her and no one could communicate with her?
I think they're communicating with her. I'm sure it's getting to her, but then nothing's being resolved in his eyes.
Well, you're saying the fact that she's still posting?
Yeah.
And so now you think Kim's gonna be like, okay, North, don't use TikTok anymore.
I'm sure North will be. I'm sure North will be very upset. But sometimes,
not forget her feelings, but put her feelings aside right now. Is it effective? Do you think now that it was posted online, she's suddenly gonna now stop allowing her daughter to do it?
No, but now we take it to the court of public opinion, and surprisingly, a lot of people are in favor of Kanye. Mm-hmm. Well, not surprising, because Kanye's done a lot of fuckboy shit, and I don't agree with a lot of things he's done. Mm-hmm. But his reasoning, it's like, she's a kid. Let her be a kid. Go play outside. Go draw. Like, me and you are hesitant to get Eli Roblox. Imagine him on TikTok.
I don't know.
Perfect example. My mother and her wife will take all the grandkids for like a week or two. Mm-hmm. Eli went to my mother's house and his other cousins are there and they are able to use TikTok. That's their parents' prerogative. No problem with that. But they were using TikTok so much that months after Eli had been there, he was still talking about TikToks they saw.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm not like, for a kid like Eli, we have to,
limit.
We have to filter the type of things that he's consuming, especially when it comes to these social media apps.
Yeah.
So that's our prerogative as parents. And I think it's his prerogative to say, I don't want my daughter on TikTok.
I hear that. But I also, like you said, we know Eli, right? Maybe Kim feels like for her daughter, it's okay. And she has enough support from other adults where it's supervised. You and I can't ensure 100% that if we don't leave Eli in his room with a tablet, that he's not going to be on TikTok unsupervised. So therefore, the answer for us is just there is no TikTok because we can't 100% supervise it all the time. I feel like Kim Kardashian is wealthy enough that her daughter is always using TikTok with adult supervision, Like, I'm sure she's thought it through. She's not...
I don't think that's 100% true because if I'm not mistaken, there was something that happened where she like went live on TikTok and she was very clearly by herself. Mm-hmm. And I don't know why I know all this, but her nephew Mason was texting her and she shared the text. Mm-hmm. Do you remember this? Mm-mm. But basically saying, hey, auntie, like, make sure North is careful about going live and what she shows and stuff like that. And she praised Mason for that. Mm. But now that a similar message is coming from Kanye, it's like, whoa.
No, it's coming from Kanye publicly. That's what's whoa.
But she shared it.
Yeah, because he's a little kid and it's like, oh, look at him. He's so mature and he's trying to help not villainize me as a mom to the public.
Protect the kids, bro.
Yeah, but still, Kanye needs to not put it out there. I love Ken's response.
I think the issue is, and I don't know if you'll admit it, you have a lot of issues with Kanye. So if this was coming from, I don't know, John Legend to Chrissy Teigen, you'd be like...
No, because, listen, I don't want Eli on TikTok. I get it. But I feel like every kid is different and you have to pick your battles, right? So maybe for what their lifestyle and whatever other things she limits her from, TikTok was like okay, you can use TikTok with these rules in place. You got what I'm saying? I don't know. For us, it doesn't work that way. But I have to give parents the benefit of the doubt that they're making the best decision possible for their child in that scenario. And even no matter what, you know what's more harmful to the kids than using TikTok? Your parents publicly disagreeing and embarrassing you. That's way more harmful than me using TikTok. No?
I get it. Yeah.
All right.
I get both sides.
All right. So this week on Also Y'all Can Relate, we have a very short and sweet story.
What's the title?
The title is I Don't Want Your Parents to Raise My Kids. Which I made it more dramatic than it needed to be. But I could relate to this story in parts. In other parts I can't, but like I've seen it play out numerous times, so I know a lot of people will relate definitely. And it starts, my girlfriend comes from a Dominican household, and as the oldest, most of the responsibilities seem to fall on her shoulders. So again, I come from a Dominican household. I'm the eldest daughter. Now as an adult, and now that I'm not home, I don't feel this pressure that a lot of responsibilities fall on me. But growing up, yes, I was like the second mom. So I hear that. Me coming from a Latin household as well and being the oldest, I understand the role of being the firstborn. So the boyfriend relates. She put herself through college, helps take care of her grandmother, and goes out of her way to help her family. A lot of us first generation Americans put ourselves through college. Totally can relate to that. Now, I don't have an issue with helping your family or providing when the situation calls for it. But it seems that she's the one getting the short end of the stick all the time. She also complains to me about them and some of the things they've done in the past. I love my girlfriend and I have no issues with her family. So this is where he's starting to now put his feelings in it.
That's the end of it?
No, this is not the end of it. She's complaining to him about it, right? So this is where it gets like a little tricky, because sometimes when you're complaining to someone about your family, you don't really want their advice. You kind of just want to vent and you want an ear to listen to, but it's still very sensitive. Because like I mentioned, like if you came to me and complained about your cousin, I can't really 100% blurt out everything I want to say because he's your family, you know? Just like when your friend complains about their partner, there's a certain way you're going to respond.
Yeah. You
can't really just be too harsh because that's their partner. You know, you more so are listening.
But what sounds like is happening is that he's forming his own opinions from her view.
Yes. I was taught that as long as someone respects you and doesn't treat you indifferently, then you do the same. So he's basically expressing that her family has been nothing but nice to him. I know her mother and father would be good grandparents, but I'm starting to feel a bit more hesitation with the idea of them being as involved as my parents. What should I do? The more I hear about how my girlfriend feels slighted and underappreciated, the more I just want to step away from any future interactions. Should I speak about this now with my girlfriend, or should I bite my tongue and let them in the future?
I don't think it's fair to say that the dynamic that she has with her parents is going to carry over into the grandchildren. Mm-hmm. I've seen plenty of examples of parents getting it right for the grandchildren. Mm-hmm. Showing out in ways that you wish they showed out for you, but it's like, fuck it, they're doing it for my kid, so all's well. I do think it's worth having a conversation just to let your partner know how you're feeling, because that resentment builds up, it festers, and then, you know, something small can turn into a big problem.
You know what I noticed is happening? He kind of wants to defend her in a sense.
Exactly. So that's his way of defending, like, well, you ain't gonna be around my future kids as much.
He's trying to punish them for what they've done to the girlfriend. Mm-hmm. Yes, that's exactly what I said. I'm like, it seems like you're upset that they've done X, Y, and Z to your girlfriend, and you're trying to find a way to like get back at them. And that's not the way. I feel like I mentioned, like, I'm sure there's things I've told Travis about my family that you're like, oh, these motherfuckers, right?
Oh, yeah.
And you want to, like, fight.
And vice versa.
But we know those boundaries, and we're not going to.
You got to, that no matter how you feel, no matter what may have been done, there still has to be that level of respect where it's just like, these aren't strangers on the street. There's a bond for life.
Yeah.
And we have to learn how to live with them. It's easier said than done in a lot of situations, but it's not going to be like, fuck you, you don't exist to me.
Exactly. And also understanding the context in which our parents were raised were different. So they were doing the best they could with what they knew at the time, which is why we noticed that when it comes to their grandkids, they're different because they've grown, they've matured, they've learned.
They've gotten softer.
Yeah.
I know you pointed out that, your mom was very strict, especially like when it came to cleaning. Mm-hmm. And in her older age, she's not as strict. Like you'll see your siblings get away with things. You're like, how the fuck?
Yeah, not even grandkids. Like just from me being the eldest to like my sister being the youngest. So I'm 13 years older than my youngest sibling.
So a little over 10 years, and your mom has changed her view on a lot of things or gotten softer.
Yeah.
Even with your father, you've pointed out things that you're like, what? He let you do what? So yeah. Generational things.
But it's like you can't try to punish them for what they did raising their daughter,
Where do you think he should open up that conversation with them, or it should be only with his partner?
So my advice was, when it comes to your future children, this is a hypothetical. We're talking about later in the future, and you can't really talk about what you're going to do then yet. However, if they set healthy boundaries now, just as partners and just as her being an adult, and now setting boundaries for her families, no longer as the oldest daughter in the household, but now I'm a grown woman and the boundaries have to change, it'll trickle down into healthy boundaries for their kids. So she's still getting the short end of the stick and they're depending on her too much. That needs to be dealt with first, way before we think about future children, right? So my advice was learning how to say no. Even when you can do something to help someone, sometimes you have to say no because you're enabling people to not be able to do things for themselves, right? And I told him, this doesn't mean you have to force your girlfriend. Like I'm going to make up this example. My sister called and she needs me to run to her house right now because she has a date and she needs me to babysit. Don't tell her, no, you're not going over there. Kind of more so like ask, well, do you want to go there? Do you feel like it's necessary for her to go on this date? Or should she plan better so that she doesn't need to depend on you to like now drop everything and run and go there, right? The same thing when it comes to like money. I know this happens a lot in families, right? Just because you have $200 to lend somebody doesn't mean you have to lend it to them, right? Especially when it comes to your younger siblings, because you don't want to enable them thinking that they don't have to manage their own money correctly because you're always going to be the bank, right? So learning how to say no to little things, even when you can do it, even when you want to do it.
Like, I'm hungry. He's like, you should have planned better.
Not that deep, baby. I will never let anybody starve.
Okay.
But I might give you those $10 for food and also give you a conversation about it and be like, listen,
How do you feel about not just family, but anyone asking for money frequently, always paying it back, but just always asking?
I don't know. I guess it depends on the person, the relationship. First of all, you gotta have this word in Spanish, confianza, like a
Like
type
confidence?
it's confidence, but it doesn't really mean confidence. In the way we use it, it's like we have the type of relationship that asking for money is comfortable and it makes sense. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but basically it wouldn't be weird because we have that kind of relationship, right? So first of all, there's that. Don't be asking anybody, just anybody, for money.
That's always so weird.
Weird, right? So you have to have like that confianza. I don't know how to explain it, but it's that like
a bond.
Some type of bond that it makes sense, right? Then, like what you're saying is like always asking constantly. I feel like it becomes an issue too because you're like, I don't want you as my friend that I love or my family member, my brother, my sister that I love, for you to live your whole life not being able to manage your money, that you always need to borrow.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? But like I remember in my early 20s, I had my friend Christina. If I was ever in a bind, I'd be like, quick pay me $50 till Friday. And we had that relationship. But I haven't asked for that in maybe the last 7-8 years, because you outgrow that. How would she feel if I was still doing that till this day? You know what I mean?
Well, I have Christina on the line right now.
But we had that confianza and it was young shit and eventually it stopped. So I guess it depends. I don't know. I haven't had anybody that's always asking me for shit, but I also don't mind it. Like I'm very giving. If I have it and it's not that you're taking advantage, I don't mind helping somebody.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? But there's limits. Like
I usually have a one and done deal. Like if you ask for it, and I'm never going to press anyone for something I've given them, because they always say don't lend something you can't or
live
you
without.
live without.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll give it, and if the person says, "Oh, I'll give it to you on this date," and that date passes, I'm like, all right, well, you just burned that bridge.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yeah, you're not gonna be like, oh, hello, where's my money?
Yeah,
but then now they can never ask again.
Like,
that's fine.
It only took $20 to show your snakish ways. that was a discount.
Money's such a touchy subject, man. It's so sensitive. But it's like when you don't got it like that, if I'm helping you, I want it back. I ain't rich.
Yeah.
And even if I was, it still belongs to me.
I got holes in my drawers. Like,
hello. He needs to replace those underwear. So yeah, any last thoughts on that?
No, I mean, I think the advice you gave is perfect. Talk to your partner, let her know how you're feeling, and resolve it then, because all these thoughts you're having is just going to build up and lead to disaster in your own relationship, and even though it's coming from a positive place, like he just wants to defend her, but now it's going to become a thing.
Yeah. He shouldn't try to defend her. I feel like when she does open the door and complain, kind of just talk her through her own feelings. Like, how does that make you feel?
Yeah.
Well, what would you want to do? Or how do you wish your relationship moved forward? And kind of let her see what she needs to do.
Exactly.
You can't really force it, though. Because then she's going to feel like you're pulling her away from her family.
Faux show. Baby.
Daddy.
Do you still like me?
I still like you.
Peace out.
Peace.